Hi bakers, I can't believe it is the end of 2022 and what a year it has been. It's been crazy. Now, what we normally do at this time of year is highlight some of my favorite recipes from bigger, bolder baking. However, this year I want to do something a little bit different. There's a lot of food creators that I admire out there, specifically in the dessert, sweet, bread, dough space, that I wanted to share with you. Some people that are really influential that you should follow, you should get to know, and they should be a part of your content because there's some really great people out there doing some amazing things, and here's just a few. So first up is Erin McDowell. I love Erin's style. I love the fact that she's all about pies and focuses on one of my favorite things in baking, which is anything wrapped in pastry. In this particular video, she shows you how to make a pie in any type of a dish.
Pie does not have to be baked in a pie plate. It can be baked in absolutely anything, even a dog bowl.
So right here, she's making a pie in a dog bowl, which I don't think in a million years I ever would have thought of. But she's right. Like, this is one of the reasons why I love her. She just shows you the versatility of baking and how you can kind of go beyond the constructs of, like, you know, if I don't have a pie dish, what do I do? Fun fact, a few years ago when I was doing videos for Food Network, I actually met Erin at the same time in the Food Network studio doing videos. And I will tell you personally, she is very lovely and I was delighted to meet her. These are the kind of videos that I think I need to do more of, which is not just traditional baking videos, but you know, the different ways you can get around a recipe, the different challenges that we face in the kitchen. That's not just how to make a loaf of bread. It's like how to make something without a kitchen mixer, how to make a pie if you don't have a pie dish, you know, how to make a buttermilk cake if you don't have buttermilk or whatever it is. One of the reasons I love Erin also is that she's a part of the Food 52 community, and it's such a fantastic place to find great food content. So it's really like lovely. When I go there, I know I'm going to find like people trusted in the space. Just before the holiday season, Erin actually bought out a new cookbook, same time around my one. We have the same publisher, and she did a savory baking cookbook, and it's really fantastic. Really like uniquely flavored crackers and breads and things like that. It's such a good read. Look how gorgeous her kitchen is, like those kind of like light, kind of pastel-y colors. It's really pretty. You kind of get lost in these videos. The one thing about pie is that I always find tricky is the crimping. And Erin, every time I see her pies, she's going to do it right now. She does like really lovely crimping or like finishes on her pies. And I always feel like mine look a little bit rough. I always wonder like how she gets those lovely edges. I think maybe she just uses way more pastry than I do. The one thing I love about Erin is that she is all about pies. She's a pie expert, and I love that. So like that's where you go when you need to know about pies. And in this video alone, you see savory pies, you see individual pies, you see rustic pies, you see like beautifully finished pies, crumbles on top. All in all, Erin just looks like a super cool chick who I'd like to drink wine with and have lots of pies. So next up is my BFF, Hart Hoffman.
Today, I'm sharing an amazing recipe with you for a brown butter hummingbird coffee cake.
A little bit of backstory about me and Brian. We actually met randomly in 2019 at the Kansas Bread Festival. We were both there working, and we met at a dinner one night and instantly hit it off. I didn't realize at the time that I followed the Bake Feed on Instagram, and Brian is actually the founder of the Bake Feed. He's also the editor-in-chief from the magazine Bake From Scratch, which is such a fantastic baking magazine. One thing I love about Brian is that he's from the South, so he brings a lot of his Southern influence into his baking, and that's why we specifically asked him to make this recipe for us, because it's a Southern traditional recipe. Brian is incredibly detailed in his baking. He never skips a step, and he talks you through everything. I remember him one night on a live telling us about the difference between softened butter and room temperature butter. And this was only a little while ago, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that. So like I said, Brian does have Southern influence because that's where he's from. He's from Alabama. However, he was a flight attendant and loves to travel. So he merges his love for travel and baking together. So if you look at the Bake Feed, if you look at Bake From Scratch, the magazine, you'll see a lot of recipes from all over the world, which is what I love about him, because he exposes his audience to recipes you might never have seen before. If any of you are interested in culinary, like baking focused tours, Bake From Scratch actually do amazing tours in France, in Italy. They've done one in Ireland, which I actually got to attend last year, which was amazing. Side note, how gorgeous is Brian's kitchen? He has a big thing for copper, as you can see in the background. He gets them from all over the world. I know that he carries them back from France in his hand luggage, just like I do with vintage props from Ireland. It's one of the reasons why we love each other. So look at that gorgeous cake. So Kevin actually flew to Alabama while they shot this and he got to taste it, which I didn't taste it that day. However, I have made this recipe since and it is such a lovely cake. And so I want to say like it's comfort food. Like I absolutely get why this is such a popular recipe. All in all, follow Brian Hart Hoffman online. Check out the magazine, Bake From Scratch. He is a fantastic baker. He is great fun and he loves a good cocktail. And I think that's why we're best friends. So next up we have Cupcake Jemma, another Gemma. But she's Gemma with a J and I'm with a G, and that's a big difference.
To start things off, I've actually already pre-soaked these things.
So this recipe is for a sticky toffee cake. And the reason that I love this video so much is because it's kind of a little bit of a twist on a traditional sticky toffee pudding. And Gemma, being British, I thought no better person to show you how to make this recipe than Gemma. She makes it very similar to the way I do. She makes a cake base, kind of like a spongy Madeira kind of base, and then she adds in all those lovely pureed dates. Gemma, who is English, and I am Irish, started doing YouTube around the same time 9 years ago. At the exact same time we kind of popped up, so that was kind of a coincidence. For those of you who don't know Gemma, she actually has bakeries in England called Crumbs and Doilies, and they're really popular. I haven't actually been to one because I haven't been to London in a long time, but I do hope to go there the next time. I don't know Gemma personally, but we do have the same name, and I've seen her videos. I've followed her for a very long time.
Now over to you, Dane.
So this is Dane, and a really smart thing that Gemma did is that she introduced other bakers from her bakeries into her video. So there's Sally, there's Dane, and they help create videos for her, which is so smart. So here's Sally, the girl that I mentioned, and she's going to be decorating the cake. Look how moist that cake looks. Isn't that insane? Just like Gemma, she's very easy to watch, like very conversational, like you feel like you're in the kitchen with her. She does a lot of dancing, which I can get down with, and she just seems kind of cool. Look at that beautiful cake come together. That's the thing about Gemma's recipes. There's a lot involved, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, just like there's a lot of different levels and textures. Like you have that lovely sticky toffee pudding cake, you've got the Swiss meringue buttercream, you've got the diplomat, and then you're going to have that lovely caramel. Look at that. I mean, seriously. Wow, like that is a cake. Look at that, the moment of truth. Wow, what a beautiful cake. And it took a village. It took all three of them, which I get because that is a monstrosity of a dessert. Really gorgeous. I strongly recommend you check out Gemma. She has amazing videos. She's been doing this a very long time, so you can go way back and watch her from the beginning. The next time I'm in London, I'm definitely going to reach out to her because I would love to go check out her bakeries. Another creator I follow is John Kanell from Preppy Kitchen. I'm guessing a lot of you already know him. Another baker, very talented. In this video, he's making a chocolate carrot cake. And I will tell you, until I saw this, I had never heard of a chocolate carrot cake. And this is actually from his new cookbook that he bought out this year also. So it was a very busy year for bakers and cookbooks. I enjoy watching John's videos. I feel like he has a very kind of like soothing, like calm personality. They're not really fast, like they kind of like, you know, you can go with the flow a little bit. And then he also has this amazing kitchen. Check that out. Like how beautiful is that? So John actually used to be a middle school teacher. So I think this is why people gravitate towards his videos so much. There's a lot of baking videos online. It's really lovely to learn from somebody who was an actual teacher. It's because he has a lovely way of talking, but also teaching, which is not the easiest thing to do, you know, bake and teach at the same time, but I think he does it so well. John does a lot of traditional recipes like lemon squares and like vanilla cupcakes and things like that. And you know, they're classic recipes. So I know if I'm looking for something that's like quite traditional, that he will have a really good recipe. Also, a fun fact about John is that he has twins and one of them is called George. So we have that in common. I think for me, the best part of a carrot cake is definitely the frosting, but the fact that he made this chocolate carrot cake and then like the frosting with like orange in it and everything, I mean, like just definitely over the top amazing. This is my favorite part, the decorating. Everybody decorates so differently, you know. I'm always fascinated because I like to learn a lot from other people decorating, and I definitely love when it's a little bit kind of more rustic. See, look, this is another reason why I love John, a leaning cake. I tell you, I am no stranger to a leaning cake. It happens to me all the time. But rather than, you know, cut around it or avoid it, like he embraces it. I mean, look at that, chocolate and carrot. I've never heard of it. The man is a genius. Definitely follow him for more great recipes. So lastly, this is Claire Saffitz. Now, I'm sure a lot of you know her. She's a fantastic baker. She, when she came on the scene, she was just a huge success, and she really knows her desserts. I've been following her for quite some time, and I really like her. In this video, I want to share it with you because she's making Baked Alaska. I made Baked Alaska for our Bowl Baking Academy this year, but what she's doing differently here is that she made individuals and she's finishing them differently too. So I just thought I'd like to highlight this one. One thing that Claire's video has is this lovely cartoon intro, which I have to say I am very jealous of. It always makes me smile. So just to let you know, if you haven't watched Claire's videos before, they tend to be a little bit longer. She really, you know, from a video editing standpoint and from a baker, like she lets the videos breathe and she covers like every single step and she doesn't rush through anything. And I think people really like vibe on that, is that you're there in the kitchen with her, like she pulls you in, like you get to know her really well, and you're going with her like throughout the recipe. I like this particular recipe because like Claire roasts strawberries, she makes the sponge base by half, you're going to see she makes the meringue, then she also uses like a really good quality store-bought ice cream, which, you know, like the reality is that sometimes when you go to make these big desserts, you need some stuff that is like store-bought or just like a bit of an easier way to get to an end result. So I have a lot of respect for this, especially because she's using like a really good brand.
It's not uncommon for me to forget to set a timer. Oh my God, the brioche is still in the oven.
So I love this about Claire, is that she's just human. She forgets stuff, she makes mistakes. She talks about this all the time. And I get it, because we all do the exact same thing. You know, you leave something in the oven, you forgot to put the brioche in, like whatever it is, you know, it's very hard to keep on top of everything. But rather than edit around that and not address it in the video, like they call it out, which I think is like so relatable. Look at those gorgeous strawberries in that ice cream. I love a Baked Alaska. I love anything kind of like these retro desserts, you know, like real 70s, like flambés and Baked Alaskas and Cherries Jubilee and things like that. Look at those lovely little glasses too. I wonder where she got those. They're gorgeous. I love to watch other creators that I learn from. You know, you can learn every single day. Nobody knows everything. And I think that like when you sit down and watch these people, like it's time well spent. There they are, all finished, ready to go. The different thing that Claire does here, which I don't do, but I think I'm going to try it the next time, is actually put the whole thing into the oven. I love a blowtorch, and I blowtorch mine. And she puts the whole thing in the oven, which, you know, at the end of the day, like people do, you know, everybody has an oven, but not everybody has a blowtorch. So, you know, it does make this recipe a little bit easier for like everybody to accomplish. Look at that. How beautiful. Little fluffy white mound. Oh, I bet it's delicious. Maybe one day I'll get to do a video with Claire and we can just hang out and eat Baked Alaska. That's one of my goals for 2023. I definitely recommend checking out those creators, following them on social media, watching their videos. They're really fantastic and I think you'll learn a lot. As for me, it is the end of the year. I am excited for what's ahead of us in 2023 and I will see you then. Mwah.